Anti-Heroes Podcast with your host, Zach Blair. I'm Zach Blair, and hello. How's everybody doing, man? I'm good. It's so hard to sort of talk to you guys in real time and to update you on how I'm doing or the state of the world or whatever it might be because I never know when these are coming out. Because I tour for a living and I'm constantly gone, and this thing is really hard to do when I'm on tour. It becomes compromised. It doesn't sound as good. I never know where I'm going to be, or what time zone I'm going to be in. So I try to do these while I'm home and I'm stationary. And the problem with that is that I bank them. And then, you know, the world is moving so fast, folks, especially in the nightmare horror show that is our political environment. You never know. You never fucking know. Every day is a new folly, to put it lightly. So what I can say is at this current juncture, we are in the beginning of February. Last weekend, I got to do one of the sort of most profound, important milestones of my career. So far, I got to go to Minneapolis. Right now, we are in the middle of folks protesting ICE and wanting them the fuck out of their cities, and especially in Minneapolis, where is a sort of hotbed and the epicenter of what's going on with two innocent folks that were murdered at the hands of these fucking assholes. If you don't agree with me, well, don't listen to this goddamn podcast. Yeah, I know it's a guitar podcast and it's supposed to be all fun and games, but not when this kind of bullshit's happening. If you abide by it, I don't want you here. Yeah, so my singer Tim McElrath and my musical partner and I were asked to go and participate by the wonderful, amazing, and seminal icon Tom Morello. And when Tom calls, you go. And so we went out, and there was a special guest attached. It was also with Al Di Meola, which I hopefully am going to have Tom and Al on this podcast. We'll see. Maybe they've already been on, and this is who knows. But Al Di Meola, the guitar legend, I couldn't believe. I was just like, I didn't know how this was going to happen or work. But Al Di Meola, the guitar giant from Return to Forever, from just jazz legend, shred legend, Jesus Christ. Al Di Meola is the guitar player's guitar player. And so we all played, and then Bruce Springsteen showed up. So he was a special guest. And at the end of the night, we all got to go on stage and sing Power to the People with Bruce Springsteen. And I hugged him. So that was my weekend. Again, I don't know when this is coming out, but woof. I will be talking about this at social functions and to anyone else that'll listen for quite some time. But what an important weekend, and had an amazing, profound effect on me, and just happy to lend our voice to the cause, man. As well, everyone should, because it's horrific, and it is bullshit what is happening all over America. And unfortunately, it's sort of concentrated in Minneapolis right now. So, get ICE the fuck out, period. So, to move on and to talk about today's guest is John Congleton. And so, you might know John Congleton as a prolific, amazing, Grammy Award-winning producer. And he is those things. John has made, I don't know, in my opinion, and maybe I'm partial, but I believe he makes bands better, he makes artists better, he makes records better. If you hear a record that is John Congleton, there is a certain element to all of those, and it's what John brings to it. And I'm just so impressed with the guy, and I always have been, I say always have been, always, because, and in essence, in turn, we sort of grew up together. We knew each other. We grew up in the same scene in Dallas, Texas, as you will hear. John and I used to play guitars together. I'm honored to know the guy. I really am. And we talk about his guitar playing because, you know, he's become such a prolific producer, such a seminal, iconic producer. Chances are you have a record that John Congleton produced right now. But no one really, you know, in my opinion, not enough people talk about his amazing guitar work. So John had a band called The Paper Chase, sort of concurrent with his early production career, and production sort of ended up taking over. But in my opinion, it's a disservice to the world that John isn't playing more guitar, because I'm a huge fan of his guitar playing, and I was of his band, The Paper Chase. I say we fell out. That makes it sound like there was something bad. It wasn't. You know, his career took off, my career took off, and we lost touch. We just lost touch. And it's shameful because I've always admired the guy And on my part, I should have done a little bit better. I should have tried to keep tabs, but I was admiring him from afar, and I was very proud of him from afar. And I finally get a chance to tell him that. And that's the beauty and the power of this podcast, folks. And so you're going to hear it all right here. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you get into my interview with John Congleton. I'm sure I've done a big intro, but my guest today is John Congleton. John Congleton is known as a producer nowadays, but I know John Congleton as a guitar player because we have a history of growing up in Dallas, Texas, and we knew each other. It feels like 70 fucking years ago, but it was in the 90s. And our local bands used to play together, and we were buddies. And then our paths split, as often things do in family and life and all that shit. And we went and had different separate careers and have since reconnected. And I'm very happy we did. So, hi, John.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
How you doing, buddy?
Same as always, but never better.
You know, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I wanted to do things a little bit different. I know you get interviewed about your prolific producer work. Your credits are, I mean, you can Wikipedia John Congleton, you'll see. But I'm a fan of your guitar playing, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
Oh, well, thank you so much, sir. It's weird we've never worked together. We need to work together.
I'm sure it'll happen.
Am I wrong in thinking that sometime in the 90s you came over to my apartment and we played guitar together?
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Did we do that?
Yeah, it was me and my girlfriend at the time and maybe a few other people, but we played guitar with each other. And this is what I remember of that time. You probably don't remember it, but I remember I saw you legitimately shred.
Really?
Like legitimately shred, or at least in my estimation, shred. And I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't know you could do that. And I remember you made a joke. You said, yeah, don't tell anyone.
That sounds about right. Well, because, you know, it is like, and I've said it before, it is like long division. Do you know what I mean? You don't, for like the type of music that you and I like and grew up, you know, like that, you know, you don't need to know how to do that shit. It's just fun.
It's just fun. Yeah.
And to be able to do it live, it's like, it's a little like nudge and a wink or whatever, but it is fun to do. It is a hobby of mine. I sit around and just, you know.
Well, I mean, I think it was like we were in the punk scene, and obviously the sort of like, it was just also part and parcel of Generation X of like, just don't ever be too flashy. Don't ever be too confident in what you're doing. Don't ever engage in like masturbatory efforts or self-congratulatory efforts. And that was, not only was that the punk scene, but that was also the grunge scene and of everything else in pop culture. And we were exactly tempered in that environment. So like being really good at guitar would have been maybe something that you should have been embarrassed about, which of course is deeply dubious. But like, I think we probably suffered that just a little bit.
You know what? You're so right. It was almost like you got your punk card taken away from you if you were super proficient at your instrument. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, and this is, and I want to be very specific though, but you were you were recognized as a phenomenal guitar player from your rhythm playing in your band. And this is the thing that I always like to point out when people talk about, you know, the story that we're told is a band like the Ramones couldn't play. They weren't good musicians. Well, I have to really, really, really push back on that because I would like to see the slickest guitar player in the world play for an hour straight, nothing but downstrokes. I would like to see you do that. Shit. And you're not going to be able to do that. I guess the main thing is everyone is your superior at something at the end of the day. And that's one of the things about punk music is like it was always thought upon as a lowbrow thing, but we were doing something that other people couldn't do at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. And that is such a great point. Well, hey, thank you for saying that. That's unbelievable, and I really, really appreciate it. Coming from you. That's quite an honor, and I really, really appreciate it.
Everybody thought that about you. Everybody.
That's crazy. That. I had no idea. I didn't. I did not. But it means a whole lot, and I think the reason to return that is like the reason I wanted you to come over and play guitar with you is because in my estimation, you were the kid coming up in Dallas that was that guy that was like, this fucking kid could play, because you were getting auditions and we don't have to talk about it, but I think you got auditions from a very known big artist. You got flown out to go audition for that.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about. We're not going to talk about that.
Now we're going to talk about that. That's why I didn't say it. But I was like, holy shit, you know, and you know, based on your playing alone, you know, at the time nobody knew you were this musical genius that was going to go on and, you know, earn Grammys for producing records. But you were just a great fucking guitar player. And that was before even the Paper Chase, which we'll get into. You always had such a signature thing and a sense of self. And that was so hard in a scene like Dallas. That was my biggest, and you and me have talked about this, my biggest problem with Dallas as a music scene. For those just tuning in, John and I both are from Dallas, Texas. There wasn't a sense of, it was all sameness. It was all a lot of that. Dallas needed a grunge band and needed a punk band and needed a blah, blah, blah. And you were this island in the middle of all of that was listening to your inner voice. And it is I think, solely attributed to why you're out in Los Angeles now as a producer of records, because you were doing your own thing. You always were doing your own thing. You had your own style. You had your own approach. Everything you did was just unto you. And I was so impressed with that. I was so envious of that, because I was like, holy shit, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? And I'd like to talk a bit about that. So who were your earliest guys as a guitar player that sort of helped you gain your own sort of voice?
Well, that was all so flattering and kind. And I mean, I think that I was probably, just to give a little perspective on it, like I was probably more humiliated by all those things than actually felt like they were a plus back in those days. And I think that everybody feels this way a little bit, but I always felt really on the outside of things and I didn't feel like I belonged. And you never know how you're being perceived by people,
sure.
And it's somewhat rewarding to hear somebody like yourself say, "Oh no, you were just doing your own thing," and I was envious of that. And like that, I'm very honored to hear you say that, because trust me, I was a white hot glowing column of self-consciousness at the time. And
you couldn't tell, could not tell.
But there's something that I have always sort of done where I just can't fucking help myself. I'm going to do my thing. And like a lot of times I'm embarrassed about it. I've given an analog about this before where like, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like to play on other people's records, even though I'm kind of always put in a position where like, hey, John, you play the guitar part. And I really avoid that now. Right. And the reason why I do that is because the analog I like to give is I feel like with music, and we'll talk about guitar playing, I feel like I grew up in a foreign country and moved to America when I was 16 years old. And no matter what, I'm going to speak with a really strong accent. I feel like right. I'm like walking around sounding like Borat, but in the musical sense.
That's
Do you
such
know
a
what
good
I mean?
analogy. I know.
It's
and that's
like,
such a great
like,
analogy.
We're talking the same language here. We're
right.
playing the same notes, but I don't know what the fuck it is. I fell on my head at a young age or something, and I just play a certain way. And I've always wished I could play more like other people, you know, like just so right. I could jam like a normal person or something else. But I can't. And now I have embraced that as like that's just who I am. I've always, for some reason, had left of center taste on things, and I can't shake it. So, but right. to give you a more pragmatic answer, I think that one of the things that leads me to it is I did grow up in a very cool musical household. My father was a drummer and was very involved in the psych rock scene in Texas. He was in a lot of bands, and so I had great music, that I was listening to when I was growing up. Sure. I was listening to the kind of shit that people, didn't discover until their 20s when they were a hipster. Right. So, I mean, like, one of the things I like to say is discovering the Beatles was almost a rebellion, because right. the Beatles were considered by my father to be pussy music or whatever, right. like to be like too melodic, too weak. Like he was so much more on the side of of the Kinks or something like that. Like everything was
Sure.
very riff based, very like primitive that he liked. So when you're a kid listening to the Moving Sidewalks and 13th Floor Elevators, I think you're kind of getting a perverse education in music.
Yeah.
So I was really, I was into that. I liked that music growing up. I loved ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
I loved Jimi Hendrix. Just that kind of iconoclastic guitar playing really turned me on. And I had that lexicon so deeply entrenched that when I discovered punk rock, that was my way of being punk rock.
Yeah.
And like you remember Mouse? Of course you remember Mouse at
Very
Galaxy
much,
Club.
yes.
One of the
Yeah,
first,
sure.
I'm 15 years old, and he's one of the first people ever to approach me. My band played a Tuesday night open mic. Mouse walks right up to me. He's the first person to approach me in the punk scene in Dallas, and he says, "You are an anti-guitarist." I didn't even really know what he meant, but of course he was talking about that lineage of Ginn and all the and
Sure.
like Andy Gill, and like these were the kind of guitar players I aspired to. Wilco Johnson was a big one.
Yeah. Great reference.
Just unbelievable guitar players that were in the punk scene that I absolutely revere them as high as the greats, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I think that he saw in me right away that like I was going to be somebody that charted my own course. And it wasn't too long before I met you,
Yeah. And I did as well. And that's what, to back up a bit, I think we had that discussion about our fathers before. My dad also was a psych rock
Right.
outside guy.
Right.
Was into like proto sort of metal, like Vanilla Fudge and
same with my father.
Right.
Yeah.
And a Bubble Puppy from, Texas as well. And
Yeah. Was your dad into Blue Cheer?
I was just about to say Blue Cheer. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Absolutely. But then into, the weird King Crimson-y, the heavier prog and all that shit. But, when I was a kid, it's funny Mouse said that because that is very poignant and also very, very true. To me, it struck me as, especially with Paper Chase, I was so impressed with the fact that you were combining like John McGeoch and Andy Gill, Andy Kerr,
for sure,
fucking No Means No, and like Dwayne Dennison.
Like Dwayne Dennison is a big one.
And here's this kid from Dallas, and I'm fucking, I'm just trying to, whatever I was trying to do. I didn't have that real specific sense of self yet. And by the way, you weren't ripping any of those guys off. You were doing it was John Congleton, but I could tell your influences, but goddamn, you really had your own thing on it. And that was
thank you.
So impressive. And it's so funny. I have honestly been trying to reconnect with you and tell you what I thought of you back then for so long. And I've seen your career, and I saw the St. Vincent records and everything. And I was from afar, I was so proud of you. And
thank you, bud.
Well, fuck. What would it matter to this guy, from this dude,
fuck
from
that.
whatever?
No, I love that. This is amazing.
But seriously, our mutual friend Orville Neely, who is a friend of this podcast and one of my closest, actually got the privilege of recording with you.
Also phenomenal guitar player.
Great guitar player. And hit it off and put us back in touch. So thank you, Orville. Anyway, that's great to hear you say that because that's what I've always figured. And we never, we were kids when we talked about this shit before. We never really were able to sort of, I didn't have the words for it back then. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, don't you think that something should be said to the fact that we're just Dallas people or just Texas people are a certain breed? And I also think that, Zach, I'm sure you experienced this because I experienced this like kind of right behind you because I was right behind you in the touring circuit and that whole life. And like I didn't realize how weird we were and how atypical being from Texas was until I started to travel.
Dude, no shit. And we talked about that.
We did talk about this. And I was like, I appreciate it now. I hate and love Texas so much because it made me who I was. And I have such a strong connection to other Texas people. Like growing up there, I'm not sure what it is, but it's not the South. It's not the Midwest. It's not the Southwest. It's Texas. And
it's Texas.
It's something, there's a perversion and a strange way of looking at life, a darkness, a nihilism that I can't shake, and it's part of who I am, and I feel that in you, and I talk to you, and like that's something that now I romanticize, but at the time we didn't have the language for that. I think
I agree, and I think to a certain extent, John, I need it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like we were talking about, if we're at, like, say, a Hollywood function, a music, you know, a Grammy party or whatever the fuck it might be, and I am going to gravitate toward the other person from Texas in that room.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever it may be, because I'm immediately going to have something more in common with them, especially if it's a Texas musician. Our drummer in Rise Against says it's something in the water. There is something so specific about it, and it's unquantifiable. I can't really put my finger on what it is, but it's evident in somebody like Orville. It's evident in somebody like yourself, or all of my buddies that are from here. There's just a certain thing that we bring to it. It's evident in Billy Gibbons, or who, you know.
I don't know what it is, but the crazy thing about Orville, and I think I've already said this, but for the benefit of the podcast, I had met Orville years ago, completely forgot. Like, I didn't remember him at all. So he came in to record with the band with me, and it was fucking insane, because 2 minutes of him walking into the room, I was like, I'm going to like this guy. This guy and I are going to be friends. Like, and then I found out later, oh, we're from the same goddamn scene. He's just younger than me. And I was like, oh yeah, you're just a Texas guy. I always find you in a crowd.
Yeah, same references.
It's so weird.
You know, you can talk about the fuck emos with Orville Neely, you know, whatever.
Exactly. Fuck emos was a band, for anyone who doesn't know.
Or the Cherubs, like you and me
the
both.
Cherubs, yeah.
Fucking hell. Well, so you know, because I don't want to keep you too long, so we're gonna go get through this. When you started to talk more about your guitar playing, when you the sort of a larval idea of the paper chase, which for anyone that hasn't heard paper chase, please stop this and listen, and because it's amazing music, but also amazing guitar playing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What was the impetus behind that, and where did that sort of come from for you?
Okay, so I had been in punk bands in Dallas, and I appreciate all the time I had in those bands, but it was never totally my thing. The other members of the band were more into something that I wasn't, and all I wanted to be was in a fucking band when I was in high school. I didn't care. Right. I didn't even care if I liked the music. Looking back on it, it was such a strange thing. I just wanted to be in a band. But then I kind of realized I needed to do something. I had ideas. And my ideas were always shot down in those bands, and it was always too weird, and that's fucking gross sounding. That's whatever. It was always, I was always sort of marginalized in terms of that style of songwriting, and I don't resent it. It's just the dynamic of those bands. So I really I felt like I was going to leave Dallas, and I wanted to make a recording of some song ideas I had, and I wanted to be able to sort of like find some people that would help me with those ideas. So I found a couple dudes that I respected and made a demo. And it was just like, I'm going to do my own thing, and made a few songs. And then somebody wanted to put out some music from that. So I did that, and then somebody else wanted to put out some more music. Yeah. And then we started playing shows, and then one thing led to another. We're putting out an LP. So it was a band that I never even thought was going to become a band. It happened very organically, and it was like, oh, people are just responding to this, and I'm going to just continue to do my own thing. And it was deeply rewarding, and I loved the guys I was playing with, still love all those guys. And we really enjoyed doing that while we did it. And it was rewarding. In some ways, it wasn't instantly rewarding because it wasn't for everyone. Anyways, it was great. That was sort of how it happened, just very organically.
Which is the best way for anything to happen.
Hell yeah.
You know, to get a little nerdy, was there a conscious choice? Because I remember back then you were a Strat guy. You were always a Strat guy. Was that a concerted effort, or is it just like what you had?
I own a lot of guitars because I think guitars are really fun and kind of give me ideas when I play a new guitar. But like I started on a Strat, and that's sort of like what happened. And I moved on later to a few other things that I had relationships with, but
Yeah.
But something about Paper Chase was just Strat music, and I did this thing with all my Strats where Strats have the 3 springs in the back. Yeah. Well, I was experimenting one day, and I took the middle spring out, and I realized the reaction I could get with the trim bar was not like any other guitar, and it just gave it this hellish out of tune sound that I loved and still kind of love. I still have a couple Strats that are customized to be that way. And I did a record, actually, strangely enough. I did a record with this great band called Snooper last year.
Oh, yeah, that band's great.
The record came out, and that guitar player, Connor, somehow or another picked up one of those old Paper Chase Strats and did the whole record on that Paper Chase Strat was obsessed with it. And he has built a Strat that is exactly the Paper Chase Strat now.
Wow.
It's the California series with the custom Seymour Duncan humbucker and the spring removed. And even when Snooper came back through town to tour, he came and borrowed that guitar.
That's amazing.
For the show. Because he's like, I don't get it. I don't know why. And so he has it is the exact same Strat that he's built, the Paper Chase Strat. So it's kind of neat.
It's great.
Kind of neat.
If anyone from Fender's listening, you got to make the John Congleton.
Yeah, you're right. Strat. The customized Strat. Yeah. It is a thing.
Well, I love that band Snooper, and Jesus Christ, I did not know that you did that. What a cool band.
The new one,
yeah. That shit's super fast.
They're so great.
I think what's interesting about you is you seem like a guy that is rooted in doing things with artistic merit, and the fact that like you're going to get a guy to play that fucking thing, and you're not going to worry so much about the gear. You have to be techie to do what you do for a living. But being in the Paper Chase, was gear outside of the guitar, like amps, pedals, things like that, was that too important to you, or were you just like, get me whatever, I'm going to make it work?
You know what? We were pretty loyal to certain things, enough to where it was irritating to people, I think. I mean, I remember the first several European tours, I took my goddamn amp over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no which was fucking gnarly. And it didn't take too many tours before I realized, I was like, that's fucking stupid. I can make this happen. Yeah, I can make this happen with anything.
What was it? What was the amp?
Well, I had like a really, really, really rare amp, and I still have it, and it's a motherfucker of an amp, but it is so rare, and maybe some people know this, but it was a 1985 son of original Boogie, Mesa Boogie, which is which is super fucking rare, man.
Yeah.
And it is basically a hot rodded Fender twin, as I learned.
Gotcha.
And so much so that Fender sued Mesa Boogie. I'm sure you know about that.
Yeah.
But this amp will peel the fucking paint off the wall.
No
still.
Shit.
This thing is insane sounding.
So is it's a combo like an original, like a twin, or is it a head?
No, it's a head. It's a head.
Oh, fuck.
And it's deeply primitive. It's like there's just like 5 knobs on it. And it is a motherfucker. And like I'm not super gear geeky at all, but this thing does have a fucking sound to it.
Wow.
And
oh shit.
You know, so like it was that for me, and Bobby the bass player, like always, you know, an old SVT too.
Sure.
And that motherfucker, like, I don't want to gloss over how much Bobby had to do with the sound of the band. He
was a great player, that guy.
He was a fantastic player, and he had such an iconoclastic thing that he would do where he never played with the pick, which was certainly was of the style. He played so hard with his fingers that the pickups would distort.
Wow.
It was crazy.
And always, like, if I remember correctly, 5-string Ernie ball, right?
That's right. Very not cool. Not a cool bass.
But he made it cool.
He made it cool, and he would play so hard that when I would take a direct of the amp, of the bass, and those it would be distorting.
Wow.
The pickups would be distorting. Not an easy feat.
I forgot that Jason Garner played with you guys afterwards.
Right. Tremendous drummer.
Tremendous drummer, tremendous musician, great guy.
Tremendous person,
I love that dude.
Just the best.
I haven't seen Jason forever. My brother saw him not too long ago, and he's
hanging in there.
Yeah, he's still great. Anyway, if he's listening, shouts out. I subbed for that band, the Death Ray Davies. I subbed guitar for a few shows for him, and maybe even a little run. And he was the bassist and sang like perfect, pitch perfect backing vocals. Like, why is it fucking anything you can't do?
He's so great. But the best thing about what, just real quick, I just want to say, literally the hardest working musician I've ever worked with.
Absolutely, shit.
The guy was just, every show needed to be the best show. A thing about Jason I want to say real quick is I've never known a drummer who threw up as much as him.
That's saying a lot. That's
because he would just play his ass off every night, and sometimes too hard, and he'd just fucking throw up right in the middle of playing drums. That's great. Which right on. For the Paper Chase was great. It was like we were all about the spectacle and the disgust, so it was fine.
Was there a decision after the Paper Chase to go into production work, or did that also happen organically? Was your intention to still be a guitar player and playing something else?
Okay, so the moment the Paper Chase stopped, I started another thing called the Nighty Night. Which, by the way, I researched that stuff is great. Oh, thanks. A little less guitar oriented in general, which is what I was a little more interested in at the time. Mm-hmm. You know how it is. It's like with a guitar, you kind of run out of language sometimes, and you need to fuck yourself up. So that was a little bit of an exercise in that. Put out one full length, one EP, toured some, but not oodles. But Jason was in that band as well. He came with me from Paper Chase. But I was recording bands since I was 17 years old. I was, I was just doing that. And the production thing started to happen for me in a pretty serious way when Paper Chase was still busy. I never was like, okay, and now I'm just going to be a producer. That never happened. I think that a little bit of it was I just wasn't writing as much of the type of music that you go and play in a band doing. Right. Just wasn't doing that as much. I was not as interested in singing anymore. I just wasn't that interested in it anymore. Or writing lyrics. It just was not as attractive to me anymore. So it was all just an organic thing. And also, like, if I have to be honest, but, after touring, I started touring when I was 17 and I toured until I was 39. So after like 22 years of pretty consistent touring, nothing ever got particularly more comfortable. It's not like I graduated to a bus, and it's not like that was ever going to happen. And it wasn't that I even had a problem touring in a van, but it did feel like the mystery had kind of been let out of it. Like I was like, wow, I'm playing the same venues. I'm seeing kind of the same people at every show. And from a pragmatic standpoint, not particularly more people. So it was a little bit of a plateau that just made me sort of less excited about it, because it was like, oh, this is Groundhog's Day. Yeah. I think that, like, when you're in a band where everything is constantly slowly ascending, there's something that keeps you a little more engaged. And I'm not even talking financially. Like, everything always was fine with that. It was just more like I just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again, and it didn't feel novel. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Fuck yes. Jesus Christ.
How do you fight that? How do you fight that? Because you're a road dog, man.
For me, John, I don't know, man. I quit high school,
This is your
my
thing.
brother. Yeah. And I don't know anything else. Yeah. I would love, I've dipped my toe into production. Yep. I actually co-produced the new Casualties record that's coming out.
Oh, fuck yeah. Nice one.
But which is fun. And it's amazing. It's all I've ever done. And so, but God damn it, it's just, you're right though. It's just like anything else. And for guys like you and me to complain or bitch or, whatever, it's like you get the layman of, oh, dude must be whatever, And
I am not complaining. I'm just telling the story of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. And I don't mean to frame it that way.
I know that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get the normies that are like, that have never done it, that romanticize what this whole thing is. And what you just explained is the inside of it. That is exactly what it's like. When I joined Rise Against, they were already at a certain level, and it was so like, oh my God. But even with a Rise Against level thing, it's, there's plateaus. And you do feel like you're spinning your wheels and you're doing the same thing. And it is fucking Groundhog Day. And you are showing up and walking into the same venue every night. My layman's answer is the fact that is just, I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
I've tried working like day jobs. I'm the worst employee. I'm the worst. I just don't have it. So it's like, this better fucking work. Yeah. And then I compare it to like other jobs. I mean, other jobs must have the same thing where it's like, fucking, oh, great. Now I'm doing this for the next 20 years of my life until I can retire or whatever it might be, I think with what you and I do, because yes, this is commerce, it's also art. And you don't ever, Picasso, not comparing myself to Picasso, but you know what I mean? He painted up until the night he died.
That's
it's
right.
Always, I'm so lucky, and we are so lucky that we do make a living off making art. But if the living part of it got cut off tomorrow, I'm still writing a song in my head, and I'm still going to play guitar, whatever it is I'm going to do. So
yeah, 100%. That is essentially how I look at it as well. And like, again, to revisit, I'm not complaining. It was like I had two things happening in my life concurrently, one of which felt like was in a level of stasis, and I wasn't particularly inspired to write at that time in my life. And another thing that was kind of exciting and it seemed constantly novel, and people were kind of giving me thumbs up for it, and that felt pretty good, and it felt like I was helping people in a way that, like, going out and making people's heads explode at enormous volume every night, it didn't feel like it was helping the world quite as much.
Well, and your living now it's creative in 3D. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you are getting to sort of creatively express yourself. And also helping other amazing artists creatively express themselves, it's on another level, in another dimension. And, to revisit, I think it's okay. And you are not complaining, but I will complain about what I do sometimes. And that's okay. It is what I do. And people that don't do it cosplay as musicians, let's put it that way. They wear the clothes and they stay in Dallas and keep playing there. And we know those guys. Oh, yeah. It's like, if they really went out for 1 week on real tours, like you and me are talking about, that would break them. And so I think it's healthy.
It's pretty goddamn hard.
It's pretty goddamn hard.
Like,
it's pretty goddamn hard.
It is astounding how hard it is. And it is exceptionally lonely.
It's exceptionally lonely. And, and there's the thing of like, and fuck this, but it's like, the people, like, you're seeing people from your high school. I mean, in my 30s, there was like, getting married, having children, doing the thing that normal people are supposed to do. And I never really wanted to do that thing, but I was thinking like, holy fuck, I hope something cool happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do this until forever. No plan B.
No plan B. That was kind of my secret. It sounds like it was yours as well. It's like, I don't know. What the fuck else am I going to do? I'm basically unemployable. Yeah.
There's no retire. What are you talking about? Somebody asked me that. I was buying, it was like a friend of mine, and she was like, well, it's someday. She basically made the analogy, like, when you retire. And I just looked at her, I was like, I'm going to fucking die out there. What are you talking about? There's no retire. I can't fucking retire. Like, I'm going to die. And I hope, whoever prays, I hope I die on stage. That's going to be great. You know what I mean?
It's pretty awesome.
It's great. It's a Vikings way to go, man. I spend more time doing that shit than anything else. So I'm either going to die like talking to you on this podcast or fucking, whatever.
Hey, my assistant, Sean, who's been with me for about 10 years now, the joke at my studio is just like, the joke that he makes is just, one day you won't show up.
Dude.
And like,
it's the truth.
That's the truth. It's like, I'm going to make records, and then one day they're going to just find me in the studio dead, or at, in my home with my cats eating me.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, but this is what I chose.
It's what you fucking chose to do. It's what you chose, and and we should all be so lucky.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I should be so lucky to have the privilege to be able to go out and perform and play music that had a part of writing and die that way.
Remember Mike Scascia?
Very well. He was a mentor of mine.
He died on stage.
That's
fucking awesome. He died on stage, man, playing a rigor mortis show. Yeah.
I took lessons from Mike. Mike was one of my closest friends. I mean, like, I love
Unbelievable.
Mike Scotcha.
Unbelievable player.
He in turn, in a roundabout way, is how I ended up in Guar through Casey Orr.
Yeah.
Casey Orr, that was the basis for Rigor Mortis and blah, blah, blah. But goddamn, and another great Texan, fucking, like, the greatest metal guitar player of all time. Total unsung hero.
And totally weird fucking player.
Totally weird fucking player. That weird, like, linear
strange style. Yeah.
Phrygian scale on one string all the way down and up, you know. Yeah, just
he is the sound of Psalm 69's, that Ministry record.
He is.
Like,
he is.
He'll never get the credit for that, but he is the sound of that record.
Back to our point. There's two idols we're talking about here that died this way. Mike Scotcha on stage, which is why I'm talking about. Steve Albini at his studio.
Yeah, who is a mentor of mine. Just to be clear, he didn't die at the studio.
At his studio.
He died shortly after he left his studio. But you may know this story, but I actually went to Chicago and finished the record he was making.
Oh, my God. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But he had just finished my brother's record, The Toadies, which is about to come out.
Just a couple weeks before, right?
I mean, less than 2.
Wow.
You know, that project you finished was what I think those folks were staying there as the Toadies were finishing up.
Yeah.
Vaden, their singer, was finishing up, and then he left, and then, but there you go. It's like, so there's your assistant's point of view was like, you're just not going to show up one day. That's what happened.
That's what happens.
That's what fucking happens.
You make music, and then somebody else takes over for you.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the tapestry that we each, if we're so lucky, get to do one brushstroke on. And
absolutely.
I wouldn't be talking to you if it wasn't for Steve. And we wouldn't be talking to each other if it wasn't for Mike, maybe, you know?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, just to get poetic about this a little bit, when you came over to my house or my weird, shitty apartment, I remember it was terrible. I was sharing it with my best friend that I grew up with, and he went to prison since and all this kind of shit. Yeah. Sherman, Texas, baby. You know, we were kids, and here we are 30 some odd years later, and you're at the top of your field, and I'm doing well myself, and we did it, you know, and we're talking on a fucking podcast, which if you had told us back then what this was, we wouldn't comprehend what it was.
We wouldn't have understood. Yeah.
I'm just so proud of you. And
likewise, dude. You know I feel the same way.
Well, it's just amazing, man. And I don't want to keep you too much longer, John. You know, I do ask everybody, though, we might have talked about it already, if there was a piece of gear through your extensive touring or even in your studio production line, if there was a piece of gear that you lost or it blew up or you had to hawk it back in the day or whatever, that's something you wish, you lament.
Fuck, man. Not really. Not really.
You do have, I mean, I did notice you have an impressive collection of, we haven't talked about them, the Travis Bean guitars. You have a lot of those. Those are great.
I have a large amount of just stuff, as you've seen.
As you should.
One of the things that is a superpower of mine is I've always been astoundingly good with money. When I don't have money, I don't spend money at all. And when I have money, I spend the right amount. And I did not grow up with money. I grew up very white trash, as did you.
Yes, I did.
We are Texas white trash.
Did. Yes, we are. Trailer parks.
Yeah. That's my people. And
my phone.
I somehow got a really good sense of money. I was always the guy on tour who had his money, saved his money. I always was really good at it. When I got some money, I didn't blow it all on gear. I would buy a couple things that I knew I really liked, and
sure.
It was sort of like a carpenter buying the really good hammer that never lost its value. So if I liquidated everything I had, it would be great right now. All that stuff is worth so much money because I think I have really good taste in those sorts of things.
You do.
So I never really sold anything. I kind of kept it all. I mean, I was getting stuff when they were literally throwing it out the door, like vintage keyboards and things that like, oh, get this out of here. Tape machines. I was like, nope, give it to me. I know exactly what to do with that. I knew somewhere deep within me that stuff wasn't going to go out of style. I just knew it, and I was right. So I've been really good about that. So I don't have an answer. I've also been lucky in that I didn't really have much stolen. I mean, I've had some pedals and things like that. You know, that I lost. Like fuck, like an original harmonic percolator.
Sure.
Never been able to get an original one of those, but I have so many that sound basically like it now. But not really, man. I've been lucky.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mine was, I've told it, but original Dan Armstrong, the clear lucite, that got stolen in Deep Ellum because I was selling it to Toby Bean. I don't know if you remember Toby Bean. He's out in California.
Dude, of course.
You remember Toby Bean?
Yeah.
So Toby now guitar techs for Billy Strings,
That's right.
the bluegrass phenomenon. And so Toby is his tech. And Toby lives out in South California. We're still close as hell. But
He
Toby,
lives in
I was
South
selling
California?
He lives at Long Beach, I believe. Yeah.
Oh fuck, man! I gotta link up with that guy.
Shouts outs to Toby. Yeah, I figured you knew Toby Bean. I just talked to him 2 days ago.
Beautiful.
But I was selling it to him, and he had it in his fucking van. Him and our buddy Omar Yifun. I don't know if you remember Omar. Okay, so there you go, Dallas boy. And
all of us played in bands together, by the way.
We sure did.
Yeah.
And it got fucking stolen, of course. And he hadn't bought it yet. He was just checking it out. And I was like, kind of like, oh, I don't think I should sell that. And it was a fucking 68. And just, there's no way they knew what it was. But anyway. So about those Travis Bean guitars, man, the most two guitars at Albini's studio, being a guy that's a guitar dork, there was the Zemetis, the completely all aluminum guitar
the
that
Valeno?
I guess the Valeno, not the Zemetis, the Valeno, you're right. The Valeno that Cobain had used, and then the Travis Bean Wedge, like their version of a V.
The bass? The bass?
Yeah, he had the bass. I think he had a guitar too, because I'd never seen a Valeno or a Wedge, and he had both just sitting up against the walls when I went to the studio. Like, God.
He had a couple 50s, which is what he played.
The one that he played.
In Shellac. In Shellac and Rape Man. And before that, he was a Strat guy, actually.
Right.
So in Big Black and I think Rape Man, he was playing Strats. I'm not 100% sure about Rape Man. But yeah, so he had a couple 50s. I have a couple 50s. Love those guitars.
Those are cool.
I have an old 1000. I don't have a Valeno. Those things are very expensive.
Dude, they're so expensive. And I've only seen them. And then there it is up against the wall, and he's like, yeah, you can fucking play with it. And I just played it like, oh my God. Like, never even seen one,
Yeah.
That was like a twofer, the Wedge and crazy. Man.
Those wedges are very rare as well.
Yeah, and they seem really hard. Like, where do you put those if you're sitting down?
Kind of uncomfortable, right? Yeah.
A V, at least you could put a V in your crotch,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that band Silkworm, but...
absolutely.
He played one of those wedge basses, I remember.
Oh, no shit. Fuck, that's even more rare, a bass.
Yeah.
Well, John, I know you got to go, buddy. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I'm so glad we reconnected.
Likewise.
Absolutely. And thank you for doing this. And
of course.
I will, as I'm always out in LA, so we are always going to be getting coffee when I'm out there. So
you better believe it.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Thanks for doing it. Have a good day, man.
Okay. You too, man. See ya.
Man, I'm so glad I reconnected with him. I really am. I don't know. I'm in Los Angeles a lot. I'm in Hollywood a lot for what I do, and it's always great to have my Texas buddies out there. It's such a weird place to be from, especially nowadays with as politically charged as it is. Texas is a very large, big old red state, and I don't mean to make it all political, but let's face it, folks, nowadays it is all political. And when I meet somebody of like mind that has the same background as I do, and they bucked against it, and they pushed against it, and they're still doing it, it's a person after my heart. And those are people or family. That's friends for life, and that's John. And man, I'm so proud of him. I'm just so fucking proud of him, He's conquered his field, and he still is. He's still pushing. He's still creating. He's still a voice that people want to listen to, want to hear, and want more of. And I have this sort of, like I said, an admiration from afar for the guy. And now an admiration in person. I'll fucking text him and call him from now on and just tell him how proud I am of him. So glad to reconnect with John Congleton. I hope you enjoyed that interview. I really, really did. And we got a lot more coming up, folks. Got a lot more coming up. I'm going to thank the folks over at Jim Dunlop and MXR Pedals. Find out what they're doing at jimdunlop.com. I'm also going to thank the folks over at DistroKid for helping you, the artist, me, the artist, get our stuff on the streaming platforms and cutting out the middleman. I would be remiss. I'm going to leave you guys with an excellent example of John's amazing guitar playing. This actually isn't the Paper Chase. As John mentioned, he did have a band called John Congleton and the 90 Night, and it is mind-blowing. It is unbelievable, and I couldn't recommend it enough. He put out a record called Until the Horror Goes, and this is a song off that record called Animal Rights. And man, you got to check about 2 minutes, 10 seconds, 2 minutes, 11 seconds in. There is a solo that is fucking mind-blowing. And I actually texted him. I was just like, dude, how are you doing this? You try to figure it out, because Jesus Christ, it's astounding. It's astounding. What a fucking guitar player. What a musician John Congleton is. And what a producer. So if you weren't already indoctrinated into John Congleton, I hope you are now. And I hope you do a deep dive, as I will do as soon as I sign off here. At the end, I'm going to say, fuck ICE, get ICE out. I'm going to say free Palestine. I'm going to say protect trans kids and queer people of all stripes. And I'm going to say, we have to help immigrant folks to better lives. We have to help them. There is no one illegal on stolen land. There's no one illegal on stolen land. Help anyone that's trying to have a better life. Be a human fucking being. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Virtues ass every time. I am a bad man. What I want is release, and you can give that to me. Go on and call the police. I am happy and good, but goodness, you all have to look out for me. That's right. You have married a mobile mortuary, constantly living the first line of his obituary. Of being, the business of breathing, the business of eating, the business of being a bad man. I am a bad man. When you're crazy at 20, you are sex to be had. When you're crazy at 50, you're not sexy, you're sad. Give me your madness, don't give me your soul. I want your body, but I need to be alone. You're with an animal. No need for your highness, no need to feel holy.